Hi there, everyone. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9. A former Joplin fire chief is laid to rest today during a celebration of life ceremony.
After a drop in COVID cases across the area, the numbers are beginning to spike again. I'm Chris Warner with what local health officials believe is the cause and where those numbers are going.
A bipartisan group of lawmakers is taking the lead when it comes to infrastructure. I'm Caroline Shively. Coming up, I'll tell you what's considered essential and what's considered fluff. Stay tuned.
Quiet down, cicadas. Nick Kelly is weather. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. Parsons, Kansas police say information collected from a robbery and burglary suspect's ankle monitor led to his arrest. Police say Paul Gordon is accused of breaking into a Parsons Taco Mayo and robbing a bank in Independence, Kansas. Police say in both cases, Gordon was wearing an ankle monitor that showed he was at the businesses at the time of the crimes. Authorities have also arrested a woman in connection with crimes. They say she lied to investigators who questioned her about the burglary at Taco Mayo. 69-year-old Crane, Missouri man is dead after a tractor accident. Missouri State Highway Patrol says the accident happened Sunday afternoon along a farm road south of Aurora. Investigators say Burl Baum fell off the tractor and was run over when it rolled backward. Baum passed away at the scene. 3-vehicle crash in Berry County, Missouri, killed a 74-year-old Monette, Missouri woman. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says a UPS van failed to yield and turned in front of a car driven by Linda Gunter. Gunter hit the van that was then pushed into a third vehicle. The driver of the UPS van and the other vehicle were not hurt. Gunter's passengers suffered serious injuries. Gunter died at the hospital. Meteorologist Nick Kelly joining us now with the first look at the forecast. Every day this week I've been complaining about the heat. It's hot. I got to stop complaining because it just gets hotter, Nick Kelly.
Yeah, and I'm afraid I don't have any better news for you tomorrow, or even Friday for that matter. We hit that high of 92, warmer than I was expecting, so Mother Nature brought that early taste of summer a little earlier than we expected, but most of us were quiet. We have seen some isolated showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms get going in some of our southern counties, let's say north of Anita, but really picking up from about, let's say south of Seneca, working down to Bentonville. Broader view, still upper level low over Indiana. That's responsible for the scattered showers and storms we have out there. They'll try to continue overnight, but in general, these are going to taper off as we get the morning drive underway. But you see, Jordan, we only drop back into the lower 70s. We'll see how long this heat's going to stick around here in a bit.
Nick Kelly, thank you so much. Former Joplin fire chief who passed away last week was laid to rest today. Celebration of life for William Harry Gwynn was held at Park Plaza Church in Joplin. Gwynn was then laid to rest at the Ozark Memorial Park Cemetery. Gwynn served at the Joplin Fire Department for 42 years, including 15 as chief, before retiring back in 1995. He passed away on June 1st at the age of 90. Veterans Affairs Clinic in Joplin is honoring the security officer that until recently stood guard over this facility. Dwayne Gilbert passed away recently. To honor him, the clinic took down the American flag, as we're seeing right there at the facility, to give it to Gilbert's family. VA Clinic also raised a new flag. COVID-19 cases are beginning to spike across the area above what health officials expected after graduations and Memorial Day. KOM's Chris Warner spoke with area health officials on what they've seen compared to last few weeks.
Freeman Hospital in Joplin has reported a jump in COVID-related hospitalizations. As of May 28th, Freeman had 8 COVID patients. Now they're at 23. Mercy says it's the same for them.
Over the last week and a half, we've seen that increase significantly.
Mercy's numbers went from single digits to about 21. Donna Stokes says there's a number of factors they believe are going into the increase.
We have had graduation. We are now kind of approaching where we would be concerned because of parties and get-togethers over Memorial Day.
The spike in cases is being felt in county reporting as well. In Newton County, just a few weeks ago, they had 8 active cases.
Right now we're at about 86 active cases, so we have seen a spike in our case numbers, and they appear to be unvaccinated individuals for the most part.
Stokes says the increase is concerning.
The majority of our inpatients currently are not vaccinated, and that is something that we would still very much encourage everyone that hasn't been fully vaccinated to consider.
The problem that I see is that we still are very low in our vaccination rates. And so we still want to encourage everyone to be vaccinated because that is the way out of the pandemic.
Bergner is hopeful that seeing the spike will encourage more people to step up and get vaccinated.
I think that's one reason that we're seeing this spike is we just don't have the population vaccinated that we need to have to get to that herd immunity, and then we would see a vast decline in the coronavirus at that point.
In Joplin and Neosho, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Mercy officials say with the vaccine open to those ages 12 and up, officials encourage those wanting a vaccine to come to one of their daily walk-in clinics. Jasper County Health Department is reporting another COVID-19 related death. The patient was a 60-year-old man. The latest death brings the county's total to 159. Another COVID-19 variant is rapidly spreading in the UK, and it's prompting warnings from public health officials here in the U.S. This coming as more states turn to pop-up vaccination sites to give more people their shots. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seary has more.
New COVID-19 infections continue to decline across the U.S., but public health officials are warning about another COVID-19 strain. The Delta variant, first detected in India, is responsible for more than 60% of new infections in the U.K. The U.S. is seeing more than 6% of cases involving this strain. Public health officials say the threat of variants is even more of a reason to get vaccinated.
When people are vaccinated, they just don't get infected hardly as much. And if they do, probably for shorter periods of time.
The race is on to give 70% of American adults at least one COVID shot by July 4th. But some states are falling short, and they're turning to pop-up sites at train stations and airports to vaccinate more people.
If you're getting ready to fly, you haven't been vaccinated, J&J vaccine, safe, effective, no cost, in and out in 15 minutes and on your flight.
Meanwhile, a new Cleveland Clinic study finds people previously infected with COVID-19 did not receive additional benefits from a vaccine. Researchers looked at 50,000 hospital employees. Those who previously had the virus were unlikely to get reinfected, even without a vaccination. The study argues countries with limited vaccine supply could prioritize doses for people who have not contracted the virus.
This study started in December, but it only went through April. The message here is, let's look at the group that got COVID. Let's consider them.
The Cleveland Clinic recommends people who were previously infected should still get the vaccine if it's available. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seary, Fox News.
A new bipartisan team is tackling the faltering infrastructure talks. The Biden administration insists it's time for a big and bold game plan to build back both physical and human infrastructure. Caroline Shively has more on these negotiations.
I'm a bit disappointed and frustrated that the White House really kept moving the ball on me and then finally just brought me negotiations that were untenable and then ended the negotiations altogether.
Following the collapse of talks led by Senator Shelley Moore Capito, a new bipartisan team has picked up the ball in hopes of moving forward with infrastructure, now led by Senator Bill Cassidy.
I really do think we need an infrastructure package. That's good. But you got to pay for it, and you got to make sure that what we're paying for is absolutely essential and not some fluff that just pays off a political base.
Republicans are focused on roads, bridges, ports, and broadband. In addition to those, Democrats want to see investments in schools, childcare, and what they call human infrastructure. The Biden administration says the game plan remains unchanged and the president sees progress.
He's quite familiar with the fact that this process it takes some patience at times, that there are going to be moments where we're near death and then it comes back.
The Senate leadership continues to tussle over who has the upper hand.
Americans across the country expect their government to make progress on big issues, even if we don't agree on everything.
Remember, the Senate is 50-50. American people did not hand the Democrats a mandate in the Senate.
The White House says President Biden will continue to be engaged with his domestic agenda, especially infrastructure, throughout his 8-day overseas trip. Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Goodness gracious, those bugs are loud over in D.C. All right. Had to point that out. KOM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Louise Blevins served in the U.S. Army from 1943 to 45. We are proud to thank and salute Private First Class Louise Blevins, native of Parsons, Kansas, by the way. She's tonight's 4-state hero. Nick Kelly's up next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Pitt State's high school team camp putting players on the other side of the game. Gonna have a story, sports.
Today was kind of a nice change of pace considering how we kept quiet for much of the day, but unfortunately that allowed our mild start this morning to turn into, I think, our first hot afternoon. Try saying that ever once. With highs pushing back into the lower 90s this afternoon. That's because we had partly to mostly sunny skies all day long, but it wasn't until about an hour and a half ago where we started to see some very spotty but showers and a couple of thunderstorms trying to pick up. Nothing really from I-44 north, but it's mainly in our southern counties. We can go in for a tighter look. One shower southeast of Independence, one right along the Labette, Craig County line, the Oklahoma-Kansas state line, but a little bit more together from western McDonald County, west of Pineville, and then working back near Bentonville and Rogers. Just don't expect these to get too rowdy, but this could be just some isolated showers and storms that very few of you will have to see as we go through the overnight. In terms of temperatures, it was nice to have mid-80s yesterday, but after we started out upper 60s, lower 70s, we hit the lower 90s this afternoon. And I'll tell you, even though it looks okay looking north from 7th and Range Line, it's warm and it's still muggy outside. 81 in Joplin, feels like 85 though with a calm breeze, and the dew point sitting in the lower 70s. That is sticky air that we were hoping would hold off for another day or so, but it is keeping us in the lower 80s right now, but factor in the humidity, it still feels like the mid to upper 80s all across the board. At least most of us will turn mild overnight, thinking lower 70s for overnight lows. The bigger picture shows not a lot happening elsewhere in the Central Plains, so let's break down the setup. Not much to show you at the surface, except our frontal system stuck to the north and west. That may try to make a play for us as we go into early next week, but in short term, though, it's all about this upper low that's fueling a couple of our straggling showers and maybe a few storms out there right now. But this building upper ridge will be a key factor in the forecast even as we go through the next few days, but certainly by this weekend. I'll keep an eye on those random showers and storms that are out there in our far southern counties, but overall, they'll start to fizzle apart by sunrise. Can't rule out a random shower or storm tomorrow, but I'm afraid, and sorry, Jordan, temperatures, they're about similar to today. 72 in the morning, 87 by noon. I'm thinking highs around 91. At least I think we're in good shape as we go into Thursday night and Friday morning. Overnight lows back in the lower 70s. Much of the day on Friday will be dry, but the upper level setup could try to allow thunderstorms to come together as a complex and try to come through. That could be some strong thunderstorms that we'll have to keep an eye on, but if that pans out, that could bring in a little bit of relief by Saturday. 91 tomorrow, 92 Friday, 89 on Saturday, but 92 to 93 for Sunday and Monday. I know, Jordan, if I had the power, I would change these numbers up, but Mother Nature does whatever she does.
Yeah, Friday could be interesting, huh?
Something we'll keep a close eye on for sure.
Nick Kelly, catching a little bit. Thank you so much. Hey, according to the National Weather Service, the U.S. has yet to see a single lightning fatality this year, and that's one for the record books. Here's why. With the U.S. averaging about 41 people dying from lightning strikes each year, typically lightning strikes kill about 3 to 4 people in the U.S. by the second week of June. Forecasters are urging caution, though, as July is ordinarily the peak month for lightning fatalities. Coming up, POTUS traveling across the pond.
President Biden begins his first overseas trip as president. I'm Madeline Rivera in Washington with a closer look at the high-stakes summit with world leaders.
President Biden will be out of the country for a little more than a week for his first overseas trip. He's going to be meeting with leaders of the G7, NATO, and Russian President Vladimir Putin. There are several global issues that are a top priority for the Biden administration, including the coronavirus and cybersecurity. Fox's Madeline Rivera has the latest details from D.C.
Before taking off for his foreign trip on Wednesday, President Biden sounded optimistic.
Strengthening the alliance, make it clear to Putin and to China that Europe and the United States are tight, and the G7 is going to move.
But the president faces a number of challenges. Mr. Biden is under pressure to curb China's growing international, commercial, and political reach.
We've got a Cold War here with Communist China that they created.
The president is also expected to address climate change and the coronavirus during his meeting with G7 nations. He says he has a global vaccination strategy. The Biden administration is reportedly buying 500 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine to donate to the world after previously announcing it'll send 80 million vaccines abroad by the end of June.
He does want to show, rallying the rest of the world's democracies, that democracies are the countries that can best deliver solutions for people everywhere. And that goes for COVID-19.
While addressing U.S. troops in England Wednesday evening, the president underscored America's return to diplomacy.
We're going to make it clear that the United States is back.
He intends to affirm the country's commitment to NATO during its summit next week. The stakes increasing next Wednesday, though. That's when the president meets with Russian President Vladimir Putin, with whom he'll address cybersecurity after several recent high-profile Russian-based ransomware attacks in the U.S.
What I'm worried about is how will Putin view Biden? Will Biden bring up the issues that really do matter?
While abroad, the president will be in touch with a group of bipartisan lawmakers on Capitol Hill who are working to reach a deal on infrastructure. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
Just ahead, going to take a trip to the gambling capital of the world.
Live shows coming back in Las Vegas and across the country. Cirque du Soleil let me into the O Theater in the Bellagio. I'll tell you about all of this coming up next.
The Bassmaster Classic.
Las Vegas is back. Live shows are returning to the Strip for the first time since the pandemic. Fox Business Network's Edward Lawrence has more.
I'm at the famous O Theater inside the Bellagio. Cirque du Soleil is going to start live, unrestricted performances here on July 1st. Now, the performers have had 15 months to stew about if and when they're going to get back to performing live in front of audiences, the energy and feel that excitement. Now, down the Strip, Carrot Top became one of the first headliners in Las Vegas to have an unrestricted show in Las Vegas on the Strip. He says that in his downtime, he was able to write more jokes and he got COVID hair.
Their end last night, that was the first time the audience was all one. So they would laugh because the guy next to them was laughing. So prior to that, when literally the first audience members way back there was nothing to feed off. It's very infectious comedy. It's very, it's contagious, which is a bad word to use during COVID. It's very contagious, but laughter is that. You need to feed off the people that are next to you laughing. Then you feel like, oh, it's okay, he's laughing, I'll laugh.
And you can go down the list of shows that are going to restart in Las Vegas over the next 7 weeks. Cirque du Soleil will restart all of their shows on the Las Vegas Strip. In fact, the company has been in front of 365 million people globally since it started. But it's not just big performances. It's also individual shows. We're talking about Brad Paisley, Katy Perry, Lionel Richie. So the demand is there.
I was certainly concerned, and I think everybody in our industry was. We didn't know how people would react. If people would feel comfortable going out again, sitting next to other people, if they'd feel comfortable, going without a mask or whatever it was, and we're seeing that that's not an issue at all.
Now, Chris Hammond says that AEG is not having problems finding the performers to come back to the stage. They're having problem finding the seats and the amount of tickets they need for the demand. People have been pent up and they're ready to get back out of the house and in front of live shows. He says that they are booking at 2019 levels through mid-2023 in Las Vegas. Edward Lawrence, Fox News.
Okay, so you ever wonder if there's a reason behind certain dreams? Yeah, well, some scientists say they have a new explanation. More on this when we come back.
The Westminster Port Warehouse.
A new study gives insight into what's in our dreams, why we have them, and their intended purpose. The study from Furman University in South Carolina says that dreams help reflect a memory processing function and help us anticipate probable future events. The study involved 48 students in a sleep lab who were awakened periodically and recorded their experiences using various sleep stages. 53% said their dreams were traced to a memory, with many saying their memories had multiple life experiences. About 38% of future-related dreams contained past experiences. We were talking about this story earlier in the newsroom, and one of the dreams that I don't have dreams that often, that scare me, but one of the dreams that I do have is forgetting my high school locker combination. Oh, man, panic attack. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Crowder College's College Assistance Migrant Program receives more than $2 million. Alumni of the program say that program changed their lives, and you'll hear from them coming up.
Plus, a donation from the Lazy Boy Foundation aiming to help train more dentists and keep them in the region. The College Assistance Migrant Program at Crowder College got a major boost when they learned they had received more than $2 million in federal funding in order to continue for the next 5 years. KOM's Mike Mahoney spoke to the program's director and participants to learn more.
Fanny Perez and Selma Perez aren't related, but they are both participants of the Crowder College Camp program who will be returning to act as mentors to new members. And thanks to CAMP, which is short for College Assistance Migrant Program, their educations are taking off.
I plan to transfer to probably MSU or MSSU and hopefully in the future become a professor.
Well, I'm going to transfer to PSU soon to get my bachelor's in nursing and hopefully one day become a doctor.
Director of the camp program, Lisa O'Hanahan, is celebrating because the program was recently notified that it would receive $2,375,000 in federal funding, allowing it to operate for the next 5 years. The program provides first-year Crowder College scholarships to 40 students from migrant and seasonal farm worker backgrounds and eliminates a lot of the financial roadblocks in the way of their educations.
They may be the first person, they may be that first generation of individuals for their family to come to college, but we often then see another sibling and then a couple of years later we might see a cousin, and so it really does change the opportunity for the family.
Camp scholarships do more than just cover tuition, books, room, and board. They also provide participants with academic guidance, leadership opportunities, and more.
I met new friends and those friends became family for me. They helped me form friendships that I never thought I could ever form.
In Neosho, Missouri, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
There are camp scholarships available at Crowder College. If you'd like to learn more, even apply, we've included a link in this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Joplin DMV back open at full capacity after it was flooded in those recent storms not too long ago. Officials say there is no forgiveness for any deadlines people may have missed because there are other places that handle the same services. Some of the vital equipment has been raised in case of future floods.
Conduits and things like that have been raised up off the floor. Computer equipment that was set a little bit lower has all been brought up. So we have taken the opportunity on the inside to protect electrical equipment and even supplies and things like that.
Some cleanup work is still being done at the facility, but it does not affect service. Lazy Boy Foundation today made a donation to the KCU College of Dental Medicine in Joplin. Lazy Boy, which has a facility in Neosho, donated $20,000 to help with the construction of the school.
The dental school is just an opportunity that, as you know, from Neosho, we have a lot of employees that use the medical facilities in Joplin. And when you look at where you can make the biggest impact, the dental school showed us that there's an opportunity for us to make a difference.
The dental school is expected to be up and running for students by the fall of 2023. National Retail Federation predicts Father's Day spending this year will reach $17 billion, with Americans spending an average of $148 on their dad. But the Better Business Bureau is warning about scams based around Father's Day. They recommend reading the fine print on any gifts, not using online coupons unless you're sure it's safe, and as always, do that homework.
So I do want to highlight that this can happen anywhere. This can happen in a small town. This can happen in a big city. I think a lot of times people think that, oh, this just happens in Springfield or this just happens in St. Louis or Kansas City. But we do have frequent scams that are reported as happening in even smaller towns like El Dorado.
Just a reminder, Father's Day is about a week and a half away on June 20th. Migrants continue to pour across the border in staggering numbers with no signs of slowing down. The Biden administration insists the border with Mexico is closed, but folks living near the Rio Grande River say what's happening on the ground tells a very different story. Fox News correspondent Griff Jenkins has more from Del Rio, Texas.
The Biden administration maintains the southern U.S. border is closed, yet hundreds of migrants continue to stream into the country every day. Vice President Kamala Harris, who is wrapping up her first foreign trip to Mexico and Guatemala, remains under scrutiny from Republican lawmakers for not visiting the border. And border residents are fed up too. Marsha Morgan, who has lived on the banks of the Rio Grande River for 14 years, says it's a, quote, joke. She's frustrated with the administration's handling of the crisis and their decision not to come see what's happening firsthand.
I wish they would, but I know they have no intention of doing so, and honestly, I don't feel like them coming here that they would make any changes, but they need to foresee what the impact of their choices, are going to cause 5-10 years down the road.
On Tuesday, Fox cameras went on a ride-along with Del Rio Border Patrol agents, who say in just the past 7 days, they've seen migrants from 29 countries come across the border. During the tour, 4 different groups of migrants were seen crossing the river in a 1-hour period, highlighting just some of the dangers they face along their journey to the U.S.
So far this year, we've rescued almost 1,300 people. Sadly, we've had about 49 die to either exposure or drownings. It happens. This river is a dangerous place.
The official May border crossing numbers are expected to be released on Thursday. Sources tell Fox they're likely to be similar to the last 2 unprecedented months. In Del Rio, Texas, along their river border, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
A bit later, more dogs competing for top dog.
The competition for the prestigious Westminster Dog Show just got a little stiffer. I'm Laura Engel. I'll explain coming up.
From and soon.
We were in the middle of keeping an eye on a few thunderstorms out there as the evening got underway. And forgive me, Max being a little bit fussy, but we're going to go about our weather hit the proper way here, starting off with how our day looked throughout the course of our Wednesday. You can see for yourself. A quiet day overall, partly to mostly sunny skies. It's been a while since we've seen that, since we had to deal with random scattered showers and a couple of storms throughout the past few days. So a nice shot from Indigo Sky showing what everybody saw throughout the course of the day. A quiet morning, quiet afternoon, but within the past few hours we have noticed this thin little band of broken up showers, even a couple of little thunderstorms. And it's not affecting the entire area. Pretty much all of southeast Kansas, most of southwest Missouri is dry, but then you hop south of I-44, we do have a pretty good shower north of Anita, west of Miami along the Kansas-Oklahoma line, and a heavier thunderstorm, nothing too strong or severe though, but you can see the lightning picking up from about Pineville, close to Bentonville, Bella Vista, and then another good shower picking back up east of Rogers and Springdale. That could bring some moderate to heavy pockets of rain, but that's going to be the exception rather than the rule for most of you overnight. A quiet night for most, but whether you're seeing the rain or not, it's warm and muggy. 81 in Joplin, feels like 85 with the dew point at 72. Upper 70s to lower 80s out there, so the numbers are going down, but you factor in the humidity, it still feels like most of us are in the lower to middle 80s at this point on our Wednesday night. The wider view shows not a lot else happening across the central parts of the U.S. At the surface, we're still waiting to see when this frontal system stuck to the north and west could try to come our way. Maybe by next week, it'll try to make a play for us. In the upper levels, though, this upper level low trying to trigger those showers and storms in our southern counties, but this upper level ridge is really coming into play, along with any potential systems running along the building ridge as we go through the next few days. So let's break down your forecast. We'll keep an eye on those few straggling showers, a couple of thunderstorms, nothing too crazy though, and I think we're all okay for the morning drive. A dry start, but mild in the lower 70s. And then as we head toward the afternoon, can't rule out a stray shower or storm, but partly sunny once again and hot and humid once again. 72 in the morning, 87 by noon, highs near 91. We'll quiet things down. We'll stay quiet for Thursday night and Friday morning. Go back into the 90s on Friday, but along the ridge, there's a chance that some thunderstorms can come together and try to come at us from the north late Friday afternoon through Friday evening. So that's rain chances we'll have to keep a close eye on. But for the overall weekend, it's all about this upper level ridge, keeping the early taste of summer heat and humidity in place. 91 tomorrow, 92 Friday, 89 Saturday. At least Sunday's looking okay, but won't feel okay. 91 with mostly sunny skies. Another shot for storms Monday, but these temperatures, Jordan, I hate to say it, looks like they'll be sticking around for a bit.
Yeah, and again, that humidity is the real thing.
I know, you get a little bit of a break during the night, but once the afternoon kicks in, ugh.
Yeah. All right, Nick, thanks so much. Coming up in sports, former Southeast Kansas baseball standout finishes his college career with a special season in Alabama. Plus, Pitt State's team camp putting on current players on the other side of the game. Jacob Leonard has that story next.
At Denver Mattress ends soon.
We were in the middle of keeping an eye on a few thunderstorms out there as the evening got underway. And forgive me, Max being a little bit fussy, but we're going to go about our weather hit the proper way here, starting off with how our day looked throughout the course of our Wednesday. You can see for yourself. A quiet day overall, partly to mostly sunny skies. It's been a while since we've seen that, since we had to deal with random scattered showers and a couple storms throughout the past few days. So a nice shot from indigo sky, showing what everybody saw throughout the course of the day. A quiet morning, quiet afternoon, but within the past few hours, we have noticed this thin little band of broken up showers, even a couple of little thunderstorms. And it's not affecting the entire area. Pretty much all of southeast Kansas, most of southwest Missouri is dry, but then you hop south of I-44. We do have a pretty good shower north of Bonita, west of Miami along the Kansas-Oklahoma line, and a heavier thunderstorm. Nothing too strong or severe though, but you can see the lightning picking up from about Pineville, close to Bentonville, Bella Vista, and then another good shower picking back up east of Rogers and Springdale. That could bring some moderate to heavy pockets of rain, but that's going to be the exception rather than the rule for most of you overnight. A quiet night for most, but whether you're seeing the rain or not, it's warm and muggy. 81 in Joplin, feels like 85 with the dew point at 72. Upper 70s to lower 80s out there, so the numbers are going down, but you factor in the humidity, it still feels like most of us are in the lower to middle 80s at this point on our Wednesday night. The wider view shows not a lot else happening across the central parts of the U.S. At the surface, we're still waiting to see when this frontal system stuck to the north and west could try to come our way. Maybe by next week, it'll try to make a play for us. In the upper levels, though, this upper level low trying to trigger those showers and storms in our southern counties, but this upper level ridge is really coming into play, along with any potential systems running along the building ridge as we go through the next few days. So let's break down your forecast. We'll keep an eye on those few straggling showers, a couple of thunderstorms, nothing too crazy though, and I think we're all okay for the morning drive. A dry start, but mild in the lower 70s. And then as we head toward the afternoon, can't rule out a stray shower or storm, but partly sunny once again and hot and humid once again. 72 in the morning, 87 by noon, highs near 91. We'll quiet things down. We'll stay quiet for Thursday night and Friday morning. Go back into the 90s on Friday, but along the ridge, there's a chance that some thunderstorms can come together and try to come at us from the north late Friday afternoon through Friday evening. So that's rain chances we'll have to keep a close eye on. But for the overall weekend, it's all about this upper level ridge, keeping the early taste of summer heat and humidity in place. 91 tomorrow, 92 Friday, 89 Saturday. At least Sunday's looking okay, but won't feel okay. 91 with mostly sunny skies. Another shot for storms Monday, but these temperatures, Jordan, I hate to say it, looks like they'll be sticking around for a bit.
Yeah, and again, that humidity is the real thing.
I know, you get a little bit of a break during the night, but once the afternoon kicks in, ugh.
Yeah. All right, Nick, thanks so much. Coming up in sports, former Southeast Kansas baseball standout finishes his college career with a special season in Alabama. Plus, Pitt State's team camp putting on current players on the other side of the game. Jacob Leonard has that story next.
The O'Reilly Auto Parts Outlaw National.
Well, today is the first day of high school team camp for Pitt State women's basketball. In the next 9 days, more than 130 high school teams will be in town, playing more than 240 games in 11 different local gyms, with PSU head coach Amanda David, her assistants, and her players running the show. Pittsburg State's annual team camp is a big undertaking for head coach Amanda David and her program.
It's something that's been established, and so it's the same dates every year. We've had a lot of loyal teams coming over the years, and so it was great to see everybody again.
For the players at Pitt State, it puts them on the other side of the game for a couple weeks.
We get up at 7 a.m. for weights and then come here to work games from 9 to 6.
And they do all the t-shirts, they do the scorekeeping, they do, one of our girls, Shayla Kohler, actually organized the entire dorm setting. So she organized 400 kids in the dorms. She wants to get into basketball operations, and so she's like doing some of the logistics with us. So it's really cool. It gets us to work with our kids in a totally different environment.
It's also one of the first times incoming freshmen get to work with their new teammates.
It's been so much fun. I love being around the girls. They're great people and really fun to play with. Getting used to the style of play is a little bit different than high school, obviously. It's a lot faster, but having such great teammates, they've really helped me adjust, and I'm really excited for the season to start.
One of the biggest factors is just that they get acclimated to their environment. And so it's not like when they come to campus in August, it's the first time they've been here, and it's just information overload and stimulus overload and being away from home. They've never been away from home.
This is a really good chance for the freshmen and incoming people to get acquainted with the team, and we scrimmage on days as well. So it's a really good time to just come together for the first time before season.
Coach David says she has 63 teams in the first session of camp this week, with 73 teams scheduled to be in Pittsburgh next week. Major League Baseball tonight, both the Royals and Cardinals in action. The Cards trying to snap a 6-game skid against Cleveland. Right now they're up 6-2 in the top of the 7th. As for the Royals, they have LA tonight. Kansas City trails in that one 2-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. A former Fort Scott Tiger and Neosho County Panther Caleb De La Torre just finished up his baseball career at South Alabama. The Jags won a Sun Belt tournament title and finished as the regional runner-up on Monday. Now, we caught up with the former local standout to talk about finishing up his baseball journey with a special season in Alabama.
It was incredible. This team's really special. It was a special group. We're all brothers, and it was kind of one of those things where we got hot at the right time. There was that Florida game. We had 10 straight hits with 2 outs. Stuff like that never happens. So, what we did these past couple of weeks were incredible, and we made history together, and I couldn't be more proud of that.
And De La Torre hit .375 in the team's final 4 games with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. You can check out our full story with De La Torre on the sports page at KOAMNewsNow.com. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Nominate your 4 state.
Westminster Dog Show is one of the most prestigious sporting events in the country. Ahead of Friday's kickoff to the days-long competition, Fox News senior correspondent Laura Engel introduces us to the newest entries.
The competition at this year's Westminster Dog Show just got a little stiffer, with 4 new breeds joining the roughly 2,500 other dogs from 209 breeds recognized by the American Kennel Club. The newcomers vying for the Best in Show title: the Barbet, the Beaver Terrier, the Belgian Lacanois, and the Dogo Argentino.
They are very athletic and energetic, and also loving and affectionate to their family.
The American Kennel Club adding the dogs to their pure breed registry after meeting criteria, which includes having at least 300 dogs of the breed in at least 20 states. Other big changes to this year's show include a postponement from February to June and a move to an outdoor venue. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, the purebred pups will now parade around Lyndhurst Mansion in Tarrytown, New York. That's about 30 miles north of Madison Square Garden, where the show is typically held.
This is the first time in 145 years that the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show has been held outside of Manhattan. So it is historical.
This change of venue also means handlers will groom their dogs at their cars in a field instead of a staging area. And bad news for fans of the country's second oldest continuously running sporting event: spectators are not allowed at this year's competition. Organizers say they're hoping to have in-person fans next year, but for now you can watch all of the action on Fox and Fox Sports. In New York, Laura Engel, Fox News.
When we come back, details of a new movie centering around the Munsters. Mike Myers will play 7 characters for a new Netflix series, and Tyler Perry is bringing back a beloved character. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has the latest from the Hollywood Nation.
Zombie reboots a classic, Medea makes a comeback, and Myers pulls triple duty in the Hollywood Nation. Mike Myers is heading to Netflix as creator, producer, and actor for the new comedy, The Pentaveret. The limited series will feature the 58-year-old star playing 7 characters, alongside cast members Ken Jeong, Keegan-Michael Key, Debbie Mazar, and more. Production has started on the 6-episode show about a secret society who have been working to influence world events since 1347.
I know it's about funerals. I done buried a lot of men.
Speaking of Netflix, Tyler Perry is bringing Medea out of retirement for a new film on the streaming giant. He will write, direct, and reprise his role for A Medea Homecoming. The beloved character made her final film appearance in 2019's A Medea Family Funeral. The 12th movie will debut in 2022. And Rob Zombie will resurrect the Munsters for his next film project, confirming rumors first reported back in April. The musician and filmmaker announced on Instagram that he will write and direct a movie reboot of the classic 1960s sitcom. The Munsters aired on CBS for 2 seasons from September 1964 to May 1966. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
You know you are humming that Munsters theme song. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with video of deers. Well, just deer, I guess. There's no deers. Deer frolicking on a beach of Lake Michigan. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow with just 1 deer, maybe 2. See you then.